혹시 불만이라도 있는 건 아니죠? 단테? 표정이 안 보이니까 괜히 띠꺼워 보여서.
Greetings and salutations everyone, I'm Mechamac, this is Limbus Company. They've released the new Hong Lu identity, so... let's go grab it! But first let's have a look at what it's actually about. So, R Corp 4th Pack Reindeer. It's an R Corp identity and that's it. -1 defense level, 185 HP, we'll see what it... Pierce weak but blunt resistant, so I think that's different to what R Corp Ishmael has. Anyway, passives. At 3 Envy, gain 1 charge every time this unit consumes 10 cumulative charge count in this encounter. Interesting. At 2+ charge, inflict 1 more sinking with base attack skills for every 2 charge. Maximum of 2. Does not activate when inflicting only sinking count or when inflicting sinking on self. Does he inflict sinking on himself? Deal charge times 5% more damage with base attack skills. As a support, 1 ally with the most charge. When using a base attack skill that gains charge count, deal 15% more damage with the final coin. I wonder who that synchronizes with. Anyway, deal 3% more damage for every charge to 15%. So that caps at 5 charge potency. At 2+ charge, coin power +1. At 5 charge count, coin power +1. Gain 2 charge count on use. On hit, gain charge +1 charge count. So it's just going to gain 1 charge count plus... so 3 charge count at the start. And 6 charge count at the end. And 1 sinking. 2 offense level, the base is about 11, but throw in 1 to 2 coin power. That's 15 on his skill 1. Mind Whip, this is the fancy one. 2 plus 3, 4 coins, 12, 14 is actually kind of underwhelming. You're gonna have to get your SP from somewhere else and then ramp it up here. At 5 to 10 charge count, gain 10 sinking, raise this unit's charge count to 10. I do not remember that from his skill list that they've released. So that's why it has when inflicting on self. He cannot inflict extra base on himself. Raise this unit's charge count to 10. This skill gains the following attributes: Indiscriminate, Unfocused Volley, and Attack Weight. When this skill flips coins, each coin flips against a random enemy. The first coin always targets the main target, or on hit effects inflicted only against the random target. I imagine we're going to see some ego with Unfocused Volley now. I mean, technically we already have it with Solemn Lament Gregor, but now they have an actual tag that they can use rather than having to fill out a whole bunch of text. At 5+ charge, this skill doesn't gain Indiscriminate. But that's his maximum charge. On use, consume 10 charge count to gain 2 coin power. So 2 coin power is 5, 10, 15, 22. So it does actually roll ridiculously for a skill 2, but only if he has that 10 charge. Or 5 charge. At 8+ remaining charge, consume even more charge to deal more damage. Oh, that's not nice. It means that he's going to... After using his skill 2, he's going to struggle to find a chance to use it again without indiscriminate fire. 18 charge is not a nice number. On hit, inflict sinking, inflict sinking, inflict sinking, inflict sinking count. But raise stagger threshold by 10% of damage dealt, but I don't think he's got anything that sticks down enough sinking count to make that worth it. Alright, skill 3, concentration. Base power +1 and coin power +1 for every charge. Max 5 each. So it flips an 18, which is very good for skill checks, but let's say that they get to 5 charge potency. Let's assume the worst and say that it doesn't count 1 charge potency. So that's 4, 12, coin power +1, 14, 26. So it does actually beat his skill 2 at max power, barely. On use, gain 7 charge count. Deal this skill's power times 5, damage 150%. Ooh, actually that's interesting. So it's saying that even though it's a single coin, it's supposed to hit really hard. At 3+ charge, deal 20% more damage for every charge. Gain charge count. Charge +3 charge count. I wish that it would say gain charge count, but then it would have an extra tag saying gain this much charge count as well. So if it said gain 3 charge count and then it had another on here to saying gain charge potency charge count. Yeah, whatever. Inflict 4 sinking and 4 sinking count. Three sinking count, 2 sinking count, 1 sinking count, no sinking count. He is just barely behind on sinking count application here. And because of his skill 2, it's definitely going to go count negative. But does sinking really need count? When you've got the you've got Rhyme Shank. Okay, he has a block defensive skill. I hate it. Okay defensive level though. 10 + 6. At 10+ charge count, gain 4 coin power, so it becomes 10 to 20. Gain 3+ charge count on use, 2 times per turn. Alright, so he's envy focused, kind of. Yeah, makes sense. No special effects with his sanity anyhow. So yeah, let's go.
이번엔 술록이 가장 먼저 투입되는 건가? 토끼와 코뿔소에게 빨리 오지 않으면 뜯을 풀이 없을 거라고 전해주실래요?
Okay, so starting from scratch, he just has inflict sinking and gain some charge. 2 charge count, but it does gain coin power, so it's a 9 or an 11. Mind Whip still has the attack weight and indiscriminate volley, but it can't get rid of the indiscriminate tag. Consume 10 charge to gain coin power. Oh, and he gains 15 sinking. Yeah, that would actually eat through an awful lot, especially given that unbreakable coins are a thing. Anyway, it is a 4 coins plus 2. So that's 8. Wow, it just rolls 10 by default. Or 14 if it gets the charge count effect. He would not be very good for a new player, I think. Anyway, Uptie. Raises base speed from 2 to 5 to 2 to 6. Deal extra damage for every charge. At 2+ charge, gain coin power. 2 charge count, gain charge +1 charge count to a maximum of 3. So, a single use of Energy Strike is actually going to be enough to have the boosted Energy Strike the next turn. But it's not going to be... Oh. He does actually have skill effects on his defensive skill. 10 plus charge count, gain coin power, but it's 8 plus 4. So that's 12 or 14. And he just gains 3 charge count from doing this. Anyway, deal more damage for every charge. Consume 10 charge to gain coin power. Raise the stagger threshold by damage dealt. Gain charge for consuming cumulative charge count. Inflict extra sinking. And deal extra damage with base skills. Alright, so raise his speed minimum from 2 to 6 to 3 to 6. Add concentration, 8 plus 8. Coin power plus 1 for every charge, maximum of 5. So about 20. At 10 plus charge count, final power plus 2. Alright, so that becomes 10 plus 12, 22. So that's actually the max roll for his skill 2 at full Uptie, I think. Gain charge plus 1 charge count to a maximum of 6, but... Oh yeah, gain 5 charge count and then gain a little bit more charge count on hit. Inflict 4 sinking, 2 sinking count. Raise the coin power for his skill 1. Raise the coin power for his skill 2. Add his support passive. The ally with the most charge deals more damage with their final coin.
초조해하면 안 돼. 버티려면 생각을 비워야. 저리 꺼져.
Definitely a bit out of character there, Hong Lu. Reindeer equipment is not nice. The faint glow of the afternoon light shines on into the living quarters. The child sits quietly, waiting for the commander to arrive, as his fellow reindeer continue to chatter on. Apparently, if this proxy war goes through, it's going to be at H Corp. I got myself a pamphlet from there. Want to take a look, Hong Lu? I'm good. I mean, H Corp's a real maze of a place, you know. I bet the knowledge will come in pretty handy even if you just skim through the whole thing. Thank you, but I'm good. I don't really need the pamphlet. I already know a little about H Corp. Why don't you at least take a quick... How many times do I have to repeat myself? Now that is certainly surprising, given whose mouth that sudden outburst came from. Normally he would never even entertain the thought of speaking so harshly to someone else. Indeed, this child once beheld the world with detached eyes of one gazing at a mere stone. But now this child has become an odd one out, even among many. This child refuses to accept his death and clawed his way to survival, climbing over countless corpses of his other selves. This is an exceptionally rare potentiality for this child. Sorry about that, I'm still waiting for my next batch of pills to arrive. Even still, he apologizes with the same warmth and kindness. His nature constantly pushes him to be polite, despite the interminable migraine making it difficult. Hey, no need to apologize or anything. We all know how it is. It's fine, don't worry about it. No matter how many pill bottles we empty, this damn neurosis just won't end. As the child was about to nod weakly at the fellow reindeer's griping, the pack commander marched into their living quarters. You look terrible. The medicine distribution must have missed a spot. I'll make sure you receive your supply before the contract begins. Wowzers, thank you, Commander. At least wipe that scowl off your face if you're going to dial up the sweet talk. Anyway, like I shared earlier, we decided to accept the proxy war contract. The compensation is quite meager for the risks involved with the mission. But without the regular supply of cash from R Corp, the fourth pack doesn't have the luxury of picking our battles. And given that you've come to visit us first, the reindeer are the advanced team again, aren't we? Correct. Reindeer team will enter the zone first and eliminate any human resistance. I heard the reindeer team of the second pack went in second. That's, well, the only similarity between this team and the one in the second pack is that you share certain outward characteristics. They have different attack strategies, different dispositions. The commander changed the subject as soon as one of them brought up the other pack's reindeer team. The commander wasn't wrong, even if they looked similar. Those in different packs were more or less completely different. Once you've finished, rhinos will go in and destroy whatever facilities there are. After that, it's the rabbits. They'll be putting down any remaining resistance. So just go in there, light them all up. Okay. Now, do whatever it takes to prove your worth in this mission. I'm sure nobody here wants to get cold. Zone Extermination. Some called the 4th pack R Corps White Elephant with all its conditions and downsides, but they were still the go-to option for extermination missions, which is their specialty. No, please stop! Ah, and my mind, the nerves, my brain! Every burst of blinding light exploded from his staff, drove dozens of people caught in its radius insane. They dropped to their knees, clutching their heads in their palms. Such hatred and resentment for those who were helpless to do anything, but let out the anguished screams. But that doesn't stop the child. He transforms his brainwaves through the staff, radiating the light to all corners, gritting his teeth through the agonizing migraine, driving everyone in the extermination zone raving mad. The rhinos will raze your homes to the ground and crush their ruins under a heavy, merciless stampede. The rabbits will rip you apart to the point where your bodies will be unrecognizable by the time they're done. Wouldn't it be much better if your minds didn't have to be here for that? So please surrender to the light. Let it take you away from here. The child believes he is giving an out to the people caught in the extermination zone. That letting madness take their mind was the kindest outcome he could grant them. It'll be far less frightening, far less painful for them to be driven mad than to be crushed under metal boots or torn to shreds by knives and bullets. Ugh. But the sinister tendrils of the light's madness was too much for the child, because he was still sane. The child grabbed his head, grimacing at the endless din and visions of torn flesh of the victims who were ripping into their own skin, driven by madness. The endless ringing in his ears, the ice pick headache twisting and stabbing away at his brain. Mad giggles slip from his lips, but it seems that the child knows a way out of this. Crap, I think they're already here. Hey, aren't you gonna retreat? Can't you shut? It's so loud here. Let's just sit down and wait for it. She looked at him like he was crazy, but the child knew that the great silence would soon come to take him away from here. The great silence that was the indiscriminately destructive force of the rabbits and the rhinos. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that too. I'd give anything for a good night's sleep. Death was cheap for these reindeers who had already experienced multiple deaths and rebirths. It was more of a nap, a brief respite from the constant excruciating noises in their heads. I spy with my eyes a fresh patch of grass. Commencing suit pressurization. When the blind destruction comes to shore, the child puts his staff down and shuts his eyes. Soon the child will be just another casualty in the devastating, indiscriminate wave that was the extermination operation of the 4th pack. And he will open his eyes again in peace, in the welcome silence. Oh boy. Anyway, the final step for Upties, which we could actually do. I have plenty of Hong Lu stuff left. 3% damage for every charge, maximum of 15. At 5 plus charge count, gain another coin power, or 2 charge. Right, we did look at these numbers, but I'm just going to look at what changes. This raises the maximum amount we get. This raises the max on charge damage. Reduces the sinking potency on self. Which is important because 15 is actually a pretty significant number. That's 2 clashes you have to win to undo it, whereas this is just 1. Before use. At 5+ charge, this skill is not indiscriminate. Consume 10 charge count to gain 2 coin power. Nice. With the extra charge count, consume 8 charge count to deal 40% damage. Right, so that's actually new. Using the extra charge count for extra damage. But then extra damage on something that relies heavily on the damage dealt, that is kind of important. Okay, raise the coin power for concentration. Add base and coin power for all the charge. To a maximum of 5, that's new. Gain final power at 10+ charge count. If you're strong enough to get the extra final power, then you're probably going to overflow on charge count, unfortunately. But extra final power is cool. At 3+ charge, deal 20% damage for every charge. Oh, actually that's why. We want the extra charge consumption. Because 18 charge is almost enough to knock you up several potency at once. I get it. 7 charge, then gain +3 minimum. But also potentially 8. So a single use of concentration at high charge potency is enough to pay off for most of a skill 2. Enough that it won't become indiscriminate, but not enough for the extra bonus. Inflict extra singing count, give an envy affinity to his guard skill, raise the base power, raise the coin power, and it can now be used twice per turn for the charge. But I really don't like the idea of letting enemies get off 2 hits on me. Okay, charge every time this unit consumes 10 charge. At 2+ charge, inflict extra sinking for every 2 charge to a maximum of 2. But only base attack skills. Deal extra charge damage to 25% and deal 15% more damage with a final coin. Alright, well that was fun.
우와, 다 썰어버리기 딱 좋은 날이네요. 그렇지 않나요, 단테? 아,
My
농담이에요.
next big video is probably going to be the start of the next canto, so I'll see you then. I don't think they can squeeze anything else in. $20, $25, $5, $15. So next month, about a fortnight. But yeah, until next time guys, take care, I'll see you all around.
저는 선발의 효율이 잘 나오지 않는다고 하더라고요. 복제된 저는 대부분 순순히 죽음을 받아들이거든요. 그들과 저는 무엇이 달랐을까요? 의미 없는 궁금증이지만 언젠가 한 번쯤은 알고 싶네요.